create boundaries around our heart centers, around our inner selves, to have a place where we can just rest and reflect and experience compassion and love and joy, all of the memories that we have. As many memories as we have of difficult things in our lives, we also have memories of happy things, of joyous things. And sometimes those moments may be a little bit bittersweet, right? Maybe they're associated with somebody that we've lost, or a relationship that's over, or a child that's now grown and gone. It's okay though. It's okay, because those energies, those beings are still with us. And we want to cultivate that energy. So, in a way, the boundary of the heart center is not so much about keeping anything out, it's about letting the things in that need to be there. And those things that we don't want there, those things that don't belong there, they still need to be listened to. We don't want to suppress those things. We don't want to suppress. If you activate, suppress, and then suffer, then you're an ass. That's what we always say, right? We don't want to become an ass. We want to ARE. We want to activate, release, and expand. So, in order to do that, we need to create this boundary. All Akashic trance work, all safe astral experiences start and stop there at the heart center. It's not always easy for us to get there. Some people do this very naturally. Some people find it almost impossible, right? But it's not impossible. If you can imagine anything, it doesn't have to be this elaborate visual thing, but it is helpful to bring in your symbolic awareness. The difference between an astral boundary, between creating your own heart center, your own personal safe space, and just doing an affirmation is profound. It's a big difference, because you can sit there and you can scream affirmations at yourself in your head. You can be like, I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm well, I'm abundance, all this stuff. You can do that. It will be effective. Affirmation is great. It's very, very useful. Chants and mantras and things like that. Very useful. But our minds, especially our busy Western minds, tend to get bored of them. And we tend to begin to disbelieve them after a while because they're not complex enough. If you're just saying one thing in response to an entire ocean of thoughts and feelings that are just kind of flooding in, it's going to be a little bit weak, honestly, in response to that. And it's going to become more and more weak as we talk back at ourselves, as we talk ourselves out of whatever sort of affirmation you're trying to use. So, your safe space, your inner space, your heart center, whatever you want to call it, is like an affirmation on steroids. Really, it's a complete unfoldment of all of your concepts around that. So rather than saying, I am love, bring in all of your feelings, all of your thoughts, all of your experiences around love, all the love you've ever experienced, all the love that you've ever felt. Even if it was a relationship that didn't turn out or something like that, you still experience that love. And even your suffering around that is because of love. So when we do that, when we create that space, we need resistance. Immediately, we need resistance most of the time, unless we've done a lot of clearing and healing work already. Because there's stuff that's on our minds a lot. And those are the things that we need to look at. What is on your mind most of the time? What do you think about most of the time? Where do your emotions kind of get directed? Whatever it is, whoever it is, that energy, that being, that person is within your astral boundary. They're within your heart space. You are giving them time. And time is all you have in this life. We may be reincarnated a million times, but there's a unique aspect to this life, a unique vibration. You are unique. And this moment that you have, these moments that we have, are all we'll ever have. It's all we ever have is the moment that we're in at any given time. So, how are you spending your moments every day? Are you thinking about someone or something or a memory or an idea, something that's happening in the world? You're a compassionate, loving being. Maybe there's somebody that you spend a lot of time worrying about, someone you love very much. That's good, right? It's good to love people and be compassionate. But are you pouring all of your energy into that? Or maybe it's something that you don't want to think about ever, but they're still there. They're still kind of there because as much as they've hurt you, you still love them. because you're a loving being. You're suffering because of your love. That's the first thing to understand, is that it's okay to create loving boundaries. It's okay to create boundaries with people you love, especially if they are not treating you well. We all do things to each other. We all create division. We all create dissonance, and we all want to be able to forgive and to let go of those things. But we don't have to let go. We don't have to allow those things, those bad things that have happened to us, to just pass by. Those beings can be accountable. We are all accountable for how we treat one another. Even if someone loves me very much, if I am abusive to them, if I am cruel to them, then they have no obligation to spend any time with me or ever communicate with me. Even if I'm loving towards them, even if I express undying devotion and love, they still have no obligation to give me any attention at all. And that's kind of one of the baselines of boundaries. There's no being in the universe who requires 100% of your energy and time. No one. There's no one. Even your child, your parent, your partner, whoever it is, you still get to have space to yourself. Hopefully, wherever you live, you have at least a room where you can go occasionally if you need to step away from your family or whoever it is that you live with. Say, I need a moment to myself. I need some space to myself. But the unfortunate reality is it's not always possible for all of us. Maybe you live in a situation where you have a lot of privacy or something like that. Someone can always take that physical safe space away from you, but no one can ever take away your heart space. No one can ever do that. You could be in the worst possible situation. You could be in prison. You could be in a war. You can still have that space. And that's the power of that. That's the real power of creating that intentional space. I'm not going to pretend that it's easy. It would be very disingenuous for me to say that it's easy, but it is possible. And it's not as hard as we think. It's really about engaging that creative, imaginative capacity.